Good morning and welcome to the new edition of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. I was amazed to hear a truth come out from the lips of the campaign manager of Donald Trump. And he said that Donald Trump is going to have a dynasty, not right away, but his son Donald Trump Jr., Ivanka Trump, are in line to be the president. And this statement is a veritable truth, not that Trump is going to have a dynasty, but the truth that America is ruled by the dynasties, whether they are Adamses, and there were three Adams who were the president, Kennedys, Bushes, Gores, Udalls, Rockefellers, Longs, Tafts. They have treated politics as a family business. And I, coming from India and seeing India and Pakistan and Sri Lanka, and of course Bangladesh, I'm aware how the dynasties have ruled these countries. Whether it was India where the Nehru-Gandhi dynasty provided 4 prime ministers in a period of 70 years. And another prime minister who was a virtual rubber stamp and a mouthpiece of the family. In USA, we had the 3 prime ministers, Bandar Naike, his wife and his daughter. In Pakistan, it's 2 families, Zardari family and Sharif family, who have been ruling, apart from the interludes of the military rule. Bangladesh is either Ershad and his wife or Mujibur Rahman and his daughter who have been reigning. Nobody else. Burma, UNU, Yuthan and their families are ruling. So, are we really democratic countries? Or are we a continuation of the royalty? We are neither. The democracies today are neither the royalties nor democracies. They are oligarchies. Let's be very clear. Now, when the law of primogeniture or the law of succession, where the son follows the father or the daughter follows the father, that's a royalty because it's a continuous process. When a group of the rich people who, by their muscle power and by their money power, start ruling, as the Vaderas in Pakistan, who are the real rulers? Then they elect one of their persons to be the leader, and that's oligarchy. India, the same thing. It's a rare instance when a person rises from the roots. It's mostly the family business. I have seen it in India on the first hand. I have seen it in Pakistan, in Sri Lanka, in Myanmar, and here is no difference. Trudeau won primarily because his name was Trudeau. Had it been Justin something else, he would not even have been MP. He would still have been a bar bouncer. But because to be Pierre Trudeau, therefore, the polish rubbed off on him. And USA, we know. As I said, 3 Adams, Roosevelts, Tafts, Bushes, Gore. I know Al Gore when I say, you'll be amazed, but don't forget, Al Gore's father was a senator right from 1939 to 1971. So it's basically not democracy. It's one political dynasty against another dynasty. So do we call them democracies? No. As I said, The concept of democracy, demos, the people electing, here there's no election. It's like Russia, where the president is elected by 99.7% votes. You have no option but to give them the vote. And again, coming back to South Asia, votes are openly purchased. They are sold. Muscle power is used. And so is the same in USA and in Canada. Things might be marginally better, but they are not different. The difference, if any, is not of kind, but of degree. But then, wrong is wrong, whether it's a small wrong or a big wrong. A murder is a murder, whether you murder a child of 1 hour or you murder a person of 90. It's the same thing. But the reality is that we, the common people, are deluded, misled into believing that we are democracies. We are not. We are basically acting at the behest of the pressure groups, which are supported and funded by these dynasties to perpetuate their rule. We threw out royalty because we said, no, it's not the birthright of one family to rule us. But what did we get in exchange? Not one family, but two families, one case, one family, another, two families in the third case, and so are 20 families as in USA. But the basic fact remains that by money power, by muscle power, and by sheer chicanery and cheating, these families perpetuate their rules. And I've seen here also, there was to be election of a mayor in a small town, and we were talking who should contest. And it came to know, it was not a shock to me, but it created a certain awareness that there are two families and they decide who will be the mayor. Well, there you are. So they are pulling the strings at the back, and mayor is their mouthpiece, the way Manmohan was the mouthpiece of Sonia Gandhi in India. As I said, it's very, very rare that a person from the grassroots, that Modi, comes in power. Now you would say that Trump had no heritage, but don't forget, Trump had been financing the presidential candidates since long. All the presidents in his lifetime had been funded by him. And naturally, the bug bit him that if he can finance and help people become the president, why should he not be the president himself? And he makes no bones about saying that Ivanka Trump would be a good candidate. If George Bush II could follow George Bush I, and Jeb was sitting on the sidelines, why not Donald Trump Jr. and Ivanka Trump? And mind you, I'm not advocating that because I'm basically against dynastic rule. If we have to have a dynasty, then what's wrong with the royalty? At least it was one family which was ruling, and they were satisfied with the money earned through exploitation. They didn't have more greed. Here, the families compete against each other in exploiting people and they come cyclically. One party led by one family, followed by the second party. So like that. So Clinton defeats Bush, then the junior Bush comes back. So in continuum of 6-8 years, and the family is back, the people say, well, both are the same, so the present incumbent should go and let the new party start exploiting. And in India and in Pakistan, the political parties are nothing but the handmaidens of the family. And if the patriarch family dies or it becomes incapacitated, automatically the next in line comes in power. And you know that classic case of a province in India, Bihar, where the husband was sentenced for corruption and his wife became the chief minister, the premier, and she didn't know how to read and write. So she'll send the files to the jail to seek the advice and the directions of her husband. And then their son becomes a deputy chief minister, deputy premier. Can anything be more shocking? No. The real democracy is not possible. Let's be very clear. As I discussed the other day, the Greek concept of democracy was in the cities where the population was 100, 200, 300, where people could participate. In a country of 1.3 billion, as in India, 338 million, as in America, how can people get together and decide? So naturally then what happens is that the person who yields the most influence, either because of his money or because of his muscle power, becomes the supreme. And once they become supreme, they become the leader, they seek to perpetuate the family rule. And the democracy goes in the rubbish heap. The dunghills of the capitals of the so-called democracies are full of the rotten, decaying corpses of the democracy. And the concept of democracy is upheld. It's a facade. It's a facade to cover the rotten face of oligarchies. And that's what I'm saying. That in reality, all democracies, maybe with the exception of Switzerland. And when they say we are the greatest democracy, as USA says, or we are the largest democracies, as India says, it's only an exception. At one time, it might be a democracy, but normally it's not. And we talk on an average. On an average, they are not royalties, they are not democracies, and they are oligarchies, and oligarchies are the worst order. Now, if oligarchies, for example, composed of the academicians and the people who are selfless, people who are intelligent, one can accept it. But when I see the level of intelligence, I'm shocked. Whether it's Alexandra, AOC, Cortez I'm talking about, whose level of intelligence is less than that of a 5th grade student, or certain ministers in India or in Pakistan who still swear by the concepts which were possibly accepted 2000 years back and have no validity today. That level of intelligence, when that person of that level rules, makes laws, then we can only see, feel sad, and think, Where have we gone wrong? I'm, again, not against family, but let's be honest. Let's have royalty there. If you want to have an oligarchy, let's have a system where the oligarchy is composed of the people who are selfless, who have no motives. I fail to understand what Plato said about the philosopher king cannot be implemented. Why cannot we have a certain level of probity, integrity, and education as far as the leadership is concerned? Why should not pass laws barring fundamentalists, reactionaries, stupid idiots from contesting the elections, howsoever rich and influential they might be? If we can ban bankrupt people, why not ban people who are fundamentalists? At least we'll have rational human beings. One rung of the ladder would be removed, the rung of exploitation I'm talking about. But this statement yesterday was, by the campaign manager, was an eye-opener, and it shows the way minds of the ruling elite work. They seek to perpetuate their rule. They seek to ensure that the families follow them. They seek to keep on exploiting you and me. And we accept their leadership, their rule, as a matter of routine. Well, it happens. It happens because we tolerate it. The need is there to be honest. If we want oligarchy, let's be oligarchy. But let's not say we are democracies in the garb of oligarchies or dictatorships. As I say, let's be authentic, let's be honest, and call a spade and not a crooked agriculture implement the way we are doing. It's not democracy. Dynasties are demolishing democracy, turning them into oligarchies, rotten, stinking, putrefying. And the sooner we realize this fact, the better it will be. Thank you.